Hi guys, it's C Puppy. Today we're going to be taking a look at some Mandela Effects, which are one of my favorite things to talk about. They're so freaking weird and so fun, and there's so many of them. Like, once you start looking into it, it's just wild the amount of things that are different in our new timeline. Can't think too much about it, it'll stress you out. So the first Mandela effect that people ever took notice of was when news came that Nelson Mandela had died in 2013. It confused a lot of people because a lot of people remember him dying in prison in the 80s, which is why they're called Mandela effects. Looney Tunes. You're sitting down on Saturday morning as a child, you got your bowl of cereal and you flip on the TV. Picture in your head the title image of Looney Tunes. So we have the circle and then we have the print, but it is not spelled T-O-O-N-S like we've all thought it was. It's spelled Looney Tunes, T-U-N-E-S. Which doesn't even make sense because sure, they have the merry melodies, but it is not a show specifically about music. It should be called Looney Tunes, O-O-N, because it's a cartoon. They're cartoons. And I'm sure it has always been that way, but apparently it's been Tunes with a U. So, moving on. This next one actually does upset me because I was a big fan of these books when I was younger, and I know this is just not how this was. So, the Berenstain Bears, and I remember always pronouncing it Berenstain because it had an E-I in it. I remember having the book and looking at it and knowing that it said E-I on it. Well, apparently, this whole time, it has been the Berenstain Bears. The Berenstain Bears with an A, which is not even a name that I've ever heard of. It's Berenstain is like a name. Berenstain, come on. Picture Curious George. He's a monkey and he's not wearing any clothes and he has a tail, right? And he uses the tail in the cartoons to do things with. No, Curious George does not have a tail, apparently. Which doesn't make sense because monkeys have tails, do they not? Anyways, moving on. So this next one, there is actually a lot of proof of the Mandela Effect. And proof basically is just when somebody finds like a physical item that still has the old spelling or the old depiction but still on it. So it's kind of proof that it did exist that way at one point, but now for whatever reason it's changed. This one is Sex in the City, which is not Sex in the City. It is Sex and the City, which it's a show about 4 women having sex in the city. So why would they go out of their way to name it Sex and the City? And the reason I said that this one has a lot of proof is because there is like this body care set that they used to sell that had like a perfume and some like body lotion and stuff, and a few people I've seen post online that they still have this set. So it used to be Sex in the City, but in our new timeline, apparently whoever made the show preferred Sex and the City. So, dingus. Next up, we have the Monopoly Man, or Rich Uncle Moneybags, I think is another one of his names. This one, I think pretty much everybody knows about. I'm sure we've all talked about this at one point or another, is that the Monopoly Man no longer has a monocle. Now, people have tried to rationalize this one as the Planter's Peanut has a monocle, but I just don't see the connection between those two for so many people to get it crossed in their heads because they don't have anything to do with each other. The next one we have here is this little guy, Pikachu. Does anything look weird about him to you? Because a lot of people remember him having a black tip on his tail. But apparently he's never had like the black, like a zigzaggy stripe thing on the end of his tail. It's always just been plain yellow. I don't think so, but whatever. Moving on. This one actually blows my mind because this one is another one that I can see in my mind's eye looking at when I was younger and knowing that this used to be there. The Fruit of the Loom logo. I'm sure everybody has seen it. The Fruit of the Loom logo was like fruits coming out of a cornucopia, and I remember that being a thing because I used to be really into like learning when I was younger, and I asked my mom like, what is this thing called? And she told me it's called a cornucopia. But apparently the Fruit of the Loom logo no longer has a cornucopia, it's just fruit. So, but there is still a few people who own old, I don't know, like vintage Fruit of the Loom shirts, and they do still have the cornucopia on the tag, but if you look, apparently that's never been the company's logo, so I don't know. What is the most famous line to come out of the Star Wars movie franchise? Think about it.
I am your father.
Right? Nope. That line was never actually said in the movie. The line was actually,
No, I am your father.
This false memory of Luke, I am your father is so persistent that the voice actor who actually did Darth Vader's voice read the script out loud. He recalls saying, Luke, I am your father, and has said it on TV in interviews many times. And it was never even said by him, so I don't know. This next one I actually didn't know about until I was researching for this video, and it's one of my favorite songs. Did you know that the song We Are the Champions by Queen or Freddie Mercury or whoever has a Mandela Effect in it? So you remember listening to We Are the Champions with your friends or family or whoever, and at the end you all get to scream, We are the champions of the world. And everybody knows that, but apparently that line has never existed in the song. It's not part of the lyrics, and it didn't happen, so what the fuck. And the very last Mandela Effect that we're going to talk about today is one that makes me so
Angry.
So picture Mickey Mouse. He's a black mouse, he has those white gloves, he has like red shorts and red suspenders and little buttons to hold the suspenders to his shorts. Right? Well, apparently Mickey Mouse has never had suspenders. He's just been walking around naked up top the entire time. And I have a memory of watching an old episode where he gets bashful and he like grabs onto his suspenders like this and he kind of rocks back and forth while like looking all like shy and stuff. And you're telling me that he's just never worn suspenders? But the crazy thing is that there's also proof to this Mandela Effect. I found these like vintage toys they were selling online that have the spaghetti straps. If you look up Mickey Mouse fan art, Mickey Mouse DIY costumes, like anything related to Mickey Mouse kind of fandom, you'll see a lot of depictions of it with the suspenders because that's how everyone remembers it. And that's why he had the buttons, is to hold the suspenders on to his pants. But no, we're all crazy. He's never worn suspenders. Makes my head hurt.